All right, it's been a wild hurricane season this year. This is the second season on record with 3 Category 5 hurricanes, and Melissa was the most intense Atlantic landfall in 90 years. Now we're going to take a look back at what happened and take a look at the rest of the season, what we have in store for us, what it could hold. Here to chat with me again is Mike Boylan, storm chaser and blogger with millions of followers behind Mike's weather page. Mike, great to see you, my friend. And this season, it's still odd in every sense of the word.
Yes, I mean, for like you mentioned, 3 Cat 5s, a Cat 4, almost no U.S. Gulf impacts. I mean, yeah, it's, one hand it seems like a, bust season. The other hand, it was probably one of the most active seasons.
Yeah, such a good way to put it, too. And when I show you how many storms we have seen, we've had 13 named storms, Mike. I mean, it wasn't dull, just we didn't have any landfall. We had 1 landfall for the United States. We'll get to that in a bit. But it's really been the intensity once these hurricanes developed, right?
Well, yeah, and what kind of stands out to me, most of these Cat 5s were over, except for Melissa, were under like over 82, 83 degrees water. Like, it wasn't that ocean heat content, and that stood out for me is how quickly those, exploded basically. And of course, the fronts, like I started seeing in August and September, we had these lingering fronts that pretty much blocked the U.S. and now that's opening the door for this cold air. It's freezing down here in Florida. So these fronts played a big factor in this season, with where these storms went.
You're right. The track, and you can see them all right there. And you're talking about, by the way, your temperature today, 75, Mike. Come on.
Hey, it's cold. My toes are cold.
I know. Listen, I'm a Florida guy in heart. I always love going. Every time I go to the Panhandle, I'm like, why am I ever leaving the Panhandle? You're right. But you can see the track right here. I think the biggest takeaway for the United States perspective, it's going to be the beach erosion that we've seen with major hurricanes, 5 of them rounding the horn, throwing just epic amount of energy right across the eastern seaboard.
Well, yeah, and I think that was a lesson to me was the battering that the Outer Banks received on systems so far away. I mean, we saw it here locally with Ada in 2020 and Helene, 100 miles away storm and what it did to our Tampa Bay area. Yeah. And they saw it this season. And that was amazing to me. It was just this constant, and it's still going on. We got king tides we got to worry about,
Yeah, that's tonight. You're right. And the only landfalling storm that we had in the United States was this Chantal that we've got right here. It happened on July 6th, so it was kind of eclipsed with what was going on in Texas with those floodings. Remember that across the hill country? It was the same week. It was the 4th of July week. But that came ashore with 50-mile-per-hour winds, tropical storm force right around the Carolinas, and that whole thing slid up towards the north, and that gave us a lot of rain that was out there. And that rain really piled up. So we had flooding concerns out there across the region with Chantal also.
Yeah, and a lot of those areas were hit last year, and again, like you mentioned, Texas, it could argue a lot of that was from earlier the season with Barry, remember? And that kind of got lifted up towards Texas. And then we had Chantal, and it was, 10-plus inches of rain. And again, these slow-moving, weaker tropical systems sometimes are worse than the winds,
Yeah, there's no question. And we've got that moving in. We had the heavy rain that was out there. Let's talk about the one November hurricane that you remember the most. And what was that? 2009, right? Was that the one we're talking about with Nicole?
Yeah, it was 2022. Yeah, it was 22. It was a November freak storm, and it came in off the east side, and it was right after Ian that year. And what stands out for me was we were watching this high pressure gradient to the north just batter the coastline, and then here comes Nicole, and the seawalls. I mean, I'll never forget just seeing that. Tearing apart the whole East Coast. It was crazy.
Looking at your video right here, that's pretty intense. I mean, this was something that was really bad. And you were talking about before, didn't one storm go through, kind of loosened everything up, and then this is the last name of the season, just took it all out after that.
Yeah, Ian, across the state, it was powerful, and it was weakening on the other side, and it just the perfect angle. Ian exited to the south, and we had those counterclockwise winds. Nicole came from the south, and it was hitting it from the top. We had a high pressure to the north, and I was in the EOC building during Nicole, and I'll never forget when they first put their drones up after the winds came down and they started seeing that beach erosion, and it was like mass panic because you had condos with thousands of people in them now, hanging on the edge of the sand there, because now all the water was getting up underneath these buildings. And I mean, I saw in action, the amazing Volusia County there, but they had to evacuate like thousands. It was crazy because just all of a sudden it's like the seawalls are gone and the ocean's just eating away at the beach there, And
Yeah.
I talked to folks in Halifax River that did not flood during Ian, but because of the winds, the river there in Daytona area, it flooded people on the other side and inland, and they were like, we had no idea. So every storm's different. There's always different impacts that you just can't plan for.
Really has. And I guess the blessing is for Florida, no direct impacts. I mean, we had the indirect stuff with some beach erosion going on from essentially Space Coast up towards the north. But listen, you kind of skirted away. But we're not done with the season yet. We still have areas to watch, right? Because November is not quite dead yet, Mike.
Right. And I mean, we had Raphael last year. Nobody even remembers that one because we were just numb from Milton and Helene.
So true. Yeah.
Yeah. So you hope, it's over. I mean, these cold fronts might be a telling sign, but that water's still warm. I mean, we had Ada in 2020 sneak by us and we flooded hundreds of homes here. It was just a tropical storm 60 miles off Pinellas County and hundreds of us got flooded. So it doesn't take a major hurricane to cause havoc. And as long as those waters are warm and we got November 30th, down still ahead, we got to keep an eye on things.
Right, we got a check mark with a big X on November 30th. Please come so we can end the season. But I got to ask you this. Here's what the tropical formation zones are right here. You can see what we're looking at right here. You notice, what does that look like to you? It's a big old middle finger, right? And across the middle part of the Atlantic. You see what I'm saying? Have you seen it?
I know. I've seen it. It's almost like it's mocking us,
Yes, indeed.
I just, it's been a weird year, like you mentioned. I mean, everybody's like, you probably weren't very busy. I'm like, it was a very busy season. Yeah. It was very stressful, all these storms. And, we tracked these long, and another thing that stands out, I think they were all long track storms, and it's exhausting. They're weeks at a time, and
right. Melissa, do you remember Melissa was an African wave that hopped off the coast, made it all the way through the MDR, so we're tracking it the entire time. You and I were both talking about it for, it seems like, at least 2.5 weeks.
At least, yeah. I went to Talladega and back, and still we were tracking it, I mean, but I'm flying up to Gatlinburg to chase snow. Every year my followers know I love snow, and we might have some video for you next week, maybe a different type of chase.
Oh, sweet.
I love snowflakes.
I love it. Are you going to make it far to get to some lake effect stuff one time?
Well, that would be easy. But everybody's like, I'm weird about sticking around the Smokies, I mean, I could guarantee go to Buffalo or PA, right?
Yeah, that's all you got to do. My first job, Mike, was Utica, New York, and then Syracuse right after that. And it was like, okay, I've seen the lake effect snow. I get it. I'm moving south, which is what I did. I went to Charlotte.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I'm chasing for that one snowflake next Monday. But the models are in my favor. So.
It is. Fingers crossed, Mike. Let's talk again next week, man. I hope that you get some snow. It's definitely going to bottom out with the temperatures. Could be enough to get a little upslope going. So we hope we do.
Yeah, 30s again down here. It's just, living here my whole life, it feels cold. Like it's like once they open the door to this cold, I call it cold attic air. I messed up one time and didn't type Arctic, I typed attic, so now I say attic air.
It's fine.
But it's like it's just flowing, and I just wonder, will we ever warm up again?
I know. It's autocorrect, right? That's what it was.
Oh, it was, but now I do it on purpose. And everybody points me out.
I mean, the autocorrect thinks I'm writing duck the entire time. I'm not. It just corrects it. Anyway, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, good thing is duck and not any other letters.
Exactly. I'm just kidding. Mike, good to talk to you, my friend. Hopefully talk to you next week with a little bit of snow on the ground. That'd be great.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
Buddy. We'll talk to you next week.